Be ready. 10 seconds to go. Start. Sir, my friend has already referred to most of the points covered by this bill. This is a laudable bill which tries to propagate the progress of transport in the country. But I am very sorry that the honorable members injected a little politics by saying that the transport operators are contributing large sums to the political parties in the country. Maybe it was true in West Bengal when his party was ruling, but certainly it is not a fact now, and so this should be denied with all the vehemence on the floor of the House. One of the points in the 20-point program that has been propagated in this country by the Prime Minister is the improvement of the transport system, which is sought to be done by the issue of national permits. So, the amendment of the Motor Vehicles Act 1939 is one step forward in that direction. The Honorable Minister of Transport, Dr. Dillon, knows the position very well because he was the minister in charge of transport in Punjab once. He has also traveled far and wide, practically all over the world, and has seen the functioning of the road transport and its relation to the development of the economy in both developed and developing countries. Practically 70% of the goods in UK are being carried by road transport and only 30% by the railways. But what has been happening to the development of road transport in India? When we go into its history, we find that the Motor Vehicles Taxation Inquiry Commission recommended in 1950 that we should have a road transport policy. An advisory committee on rail, road, and water transport coordination was started on in 1958 but was wound up in 1966. The result is that we do not have a Transport Development Council to coordinate various matters relating to inland water transport, coastal shipping, road transport, etc. I am sure that it is a very important matter and the ministry should consider to establish a forum where all these matters can be taken up. In the early days, the railways were very much afraid of competition from road transport, but ultimately, more and more traffic has been gradually taken over by the roadways, and the railways have lagged behind. According to the 75th report of the Estimates Committee of 1984-85, in 1950-51, passenger traffic carried by road was 24.9% and that by rail was 75%, whereas in 1983-84, passenger traffic carried by road was 49% and that by rail was 51.1%. Similarly, in goods traffic in 1950-51, 10% was carried by road and 90% by rail, while in 1983-84, road transport carried 34% and railways only 65%. This is the poor picture of the development of the railways. But this does not mean that everything has been rosy with road transport. Actually, everything has been done to throttle road transport. I am sure the Honorable Minister knows the present prices of vehicles, their spares, and the various bottlenecks that this industry is facing. A vehicle costs rupees 1 lakh, a body costs rupees 25,000. There are heavy taxes, and the various checkposts have done everything to deter the development of road transport. In spite of that, they have made commendable progress, and I am glad that the Honorable Minister has at last come forward with one progressive step. The tardy development of road transport has been due to its being under various authorities. You have the state government and the central government, and you have the taxation authorities, the municipalities to check them, etc. Today, the biggest bottleneck in the way of the development of road transport is the octroi posts. Since 1959, this matter has been discussed again and again at all levels and in all forums, including ministries and offices of the state government, but I do not know what has happened. Everybody believes that this octroi duty should be abolished. There are reports that these octroi duties have done everything to hinder the development of road transport. Therefore, unless they are abolished and unless you can find an alternative method so that vehicles are not held up again and again after driving every few miles, I do not think any solace can be brought to the road transport people who are plying these vehicles to enable them to carry goods faster to the different parts of the country. Unless we can find a solution to this grave malady, which is a cancer of the transport industry in the country. I do not think the national permits that we are envisaging are going to help in this particular direction. It is not a happy thing that we are in a position of emergency in this country. If we cannot do this thing in an emergency, how can we do it in the normal time? Stop